Hey, greetings and salutations. How you doing this fine morning? Yeah? Fantastic. Hey, let's go to the junkyard. Oh, I can get some gas.
3 hours later.
Well, I got this piece to replace that piece because this isn't in there no more. Hey, Martin.
Hello. Another fun day at pic-a-part.
Got my clamshells that I needed, and while we were ripping those out, I found the bumper brackets with tow hooks, and I got a new parking brake for the Jeep. Notice what's not in the back of the Jeep. Where are we going now?
Let's go somewhere healthy. I mean, relatively. And
see if the other places got one.
oh yeah, we're gonna do that too. We're
Okay.
gonna stop and get some lunch, and then we're gonna head out to the Henderson pic-a-part. See if we got any luck. Can fill that slot there. So he's got a windshield to take home with him.
But seeing how it's Vegas, I'm not feeling that lucky. Holy cow, guys. I didn't take any video at the second pic-a-part. We didn't find a windshield. Wait till I get home and I'll show you what we did find. It was a freaking find of the century. This is something that I've been looking for since I bought that red truck. We just kind of stumbled upon it, and I didn't think we were going to get it out before the place closed, but we got it. So I'm gonna wait until I get home and show you what it is.
Tomorrow.
Oh, good morning. No, it was a little bit too dark when I got home last night, so I couldn't show you my haul. But I'm going to show you now, well, in a minute. Because first, coffee. Oh, nectar of the gods. And then I'm going to take a shower.
Moments later.
Alright. Let's go look at the haul. Maybe I should go get my car keys so I can get into the dang Jeep.
More moments later.
Alright. Okay, so like I mentioned yesterday, I got this because mine has this rubber grommet thing, and it's connected. It's plastic welded on the back side of it, and mine was all really hard. This one's nice and supple, and everything's intact. You see, mine has some kind of glue. The old man who owned this thing before me probably glued a compass up here, because that's what old guys do. This one's all intact. $11. Let me get the rest of the brackets and stuff out before I show you the awesome item that we found. I got my motor mounts, my little clamshell motor mounts, and for those of you who don't know, this gets mounted right there, like so, and then when you drop it on the engine, then that sits on the engine mount like that. Okay, get it? Clamshell motor mount. And as we were cleaning up and getting ready to leave, I looked down and I saw these bumper mounts had tow hooks, so I salvaged those. And we continued to look for some of the other items that were on my list. I had a whole list of parts that I was looking for both the Jeep and the Suburban, and I didn't get, I think there's like 3 items on my list that weren't available. So then we decided that we would go to the other pic-a-part, and we got to the other pic-a-part after we stopped for lunch at Panera Bread, and I didn't even grab my toolbox. I just grabbed my utility knife because I was going there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to get a windshield for the dually. So I went back and looked, and there were 2 square body trucks in their inventory. One was like a 73 through 81, and that windshield was intact, but that has an integral antenna in the windshield, and where the wires terminate down by the bottom of the gasket, like down here, it was delaminating in all yellow. You know, I thought about it for a moment, and I thought, you know, they're going to charge me just as much for a good windshield versus this piece of crap. I'll just wait, and I'll keep looking locally here in Pahrump, and maybe I might get lucky. So then I looked at the one next to it, which was an 81 crew cab, similar to this. And I always look at those because I like them. I come around the passenger side because there was some lady on the driver's side rummaging through the thing. I came over to the driver's side. Again, sorry for the wind noise. Open the door, and I see the shifter. It has an SM465 transmission. And then I saw a little push-pull knob mounted right here, like you would see on bigger trucks with a 2-speed rear axle. Then I got excited because I knew what that meant, because GM didn't make C30 and C35 pickups with a 2-speed rear end. So that meant it had a gear vendor's overdrive in it. I got up underneath that truck and I looked up, and sure enough, that is a gear vendor's overdrive transmission. And that bolts right to the end of the SM465. Take the tail shaft housing off, bolt this right on, complete with all the electronics. Scores! Oh, I can't tell you how excited I am. I've been waiting 20 years for one of these. And the reason why I haven't bought one outright is because these are not cheap. I went on Gear Vendor's website, and this transmission kit for the GM 465, the M465 transmission, is $3,000. Got it for 180 bucks. I'm gonna do a half dance now. Excuse me. Okay. I think I'll be breaking out in song for the next few months just because of this. I find myself giggling like a little schoolgirl because I hit the jackpot. I know it might not mean much to you, considering that that engine is going into that truck with 410 gears. This is going to improve my fuel mileage by 20%. So that means instead of getting 4 miles a gallon, I'm going to get 5. I'm so excited. So I'll put a link in the description to Gear Vendor's website. If you want to get more information about a Gear Vendor's overdrive. These have been around forever, but they offer these in overdrive and underdrive. If you want more information, again, I'll put a link down in the description. You can go look at Gear Vendor's website and check it out for yourself. I'm a happy guy. This is the bit that I saw here, this little push-pull button, right? Oh, what happened? This little button. That's usually the kind of button you see on a big truck, you know. So the speed sensor, the brain, the on-off switch, and the light tells you that you're in overdrive. You know, well, you might say, well, that's all well and good, Rick, but now you got to have your drive shaft shortened, so that's going to cost you a few $100s. Oh no, check this out. Scores! I have a 2-piece drive shaft in this truck, if you didn't know, because the thing's 22 feet long, for crying out loud. So you can see the carrier bearing right there. So I have the drive shaft section and the carrier bearing. All I need to do, unscrew this from the one that's in there, off the yoke, pull that yoke off, put this drive shaft on, bolt in. No modifications needed. How cool is that? Everything. The Gear Vendor's overdrive, all the electronics, and the drive shaft, $200. I got to take this opportunity to give a shout out to my good friend Martin. Without his help, we wouldn't have been able to get this thing out in time. And then I probably would have given up long before I even got halfway through, and I'd had to walk out of that wrecking yard heartbroken. And I knew that this thing was sitting there and somebody else was going to snag it. So you know, I didn't even bring my tools. All I brought was a utility knife. I ended up giving that to him just because I have more. He was smart enough to bring his toolbox in with him. And we didn't even go and look for anything that he might have wanted. And I didn't think about that until I was on my way home. So I'm sorry, Martin. But with the place closed at 4:30, we walked out of there about 10 after 4. And as we were leaving, there was a couple of guys in the same aisle trying to get a transaxle out of a minivan. And I mean, they were working feverishly. And I walked by and I mentioned to Martin, I said, man, wouldn't that suck that you spend half the day at the junkyard trying to get a part out and you have to leave because they're closing, and you come back the next morning and there's some other young yuck underneath there stealing your part you worked all day to get out. That would suck. I want to take the time to thank Martin publicly for his help in getting this out. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Martin. I really appreciate it. I can't say it enough. So I would appreciate it if you go over to his channel and show him a little love. Tell him I sent you. That's all I got for today. Parts are starting to show up for the bus. I'm pretty excited about that as well. So next week we'll get working on that. Till next time, you have fun.
Stay safe. Shoot straight.
Keep your powder dry.
And have a splendid day.
Just then.
Remember what I said about gear oil. Febreze is your friend.